In order to survive, a state sometimes tries to draw the enemy into its ranks. It is a very critical move. It can bring a greater danger as well as a great victory. The danger comes from the counter-espionage. The state may think that it has recruited a person to its side, but perhaps it has not. But here we will talk about the person who really changed sides. Recently, a very critical figure for the Russia lost his life. The person had switched sides. He was actually Ukrainian. However, he betrayed his country because of the offers made by the Russian Federation. The offer made to him by the Russian Federation was to be put in charge of the occupied Ukraine. In other words, the name in question betrayed his whole country at the expense of being a ruler. So what was this person? What happened to him? Let's take a look at the developments together. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so as not to miss the daily map reports and agenda reports prepared by the Pioneer team. You can also support us reach more users by commenting on our video. I read all your comments. Let's start if you're ready. The Pioneer reports. As a matter of fact, we don't have much data about what happened today. We're going to try to analyze what we do have. The subject of today's report is Oleg Tazaryov. Tazaryov is originally from Ukraine. However, in 2014, he switched sides and became pro-Russian. Allegedly, Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation, offered him to the post of the president of Ukraine. In other words, the Russian leader had been dreaming of bringing Ukrainian people under the Russia's control since 2014. His promise to Tazaryov was one of these preparations. Tazaryov, as we have just mentioned, has been working for the Russian Federation since 2014. However, he recently made some remarkable statements about the Russian armed forces in a live broadcast. These statements are thought to have brought his end. These statements were as follows. The Russian army is weak and poorly equipped. With this capacity, we can say that the Russian army cannot capture any regional center of Ukraine. If they could have done it by this time. It has been about 2 years. However, they could not achieve any of the set targets. As long as the process continues in this way, very troubled days await Russia. I no longer have any faith in the Russian army's ability to succeed. These were Tazaryov's last words. In the past days, Tazaryov died as a result of an attack in front of his house in Yalta. According to some sources, these attacks was a knife attack. According to some sources, it was an armed attack. But one thing is certain, the fact that Tazaryov told the truth disturbed some people. Allegedly, it was the Russian authorities who carried out this attack. As you know, there is a tradition in Russia. People who criticize Russia's goal and stand against its mistakes usually die by falling from a height because they speak the truth. They pose a great threat to the interest of the Russian Federation. In this way, the Russian government tries to prevent lies from being exposed. Tazaryov was one of those who worked for the Russian government, and he was actually a Ukrainian, a traitor Ukrainian. So he was very valuable to the Russian government. But it is quite possible that the Russian government did not pay for his betrayal. Because of this possibility, it is thought that the Russian government eliminated Tazaryov. We have often stated in our previous reports, if Russian official sources do not make statements about an event, that event is most likely real. As you can imagine, Russian official sources did not make any statements about this incident. When we look at Tazaryov's statements and what happened to him afterwards, there is one thing that we can say with certainty. The Russian government is aware that a major disaster is approaching and is making a great effort to hide this disaster. Those who speak the truth are being punished by the Russian government. They are trying to make people think that the Russian army will win a great victory despite everything. But developments are causing all Russian moves to come to naught. While all this is happening, we can say that the Russian army's dream of Kiev is about to end, because the Russian army has no power left to achieve this dream. In a way, this seems possible that, to say, the last minute of the match are being played. While the Russian Federation is trying to hide the facts, the Ukrainian army continues to fight to increase its gains on the front line. You also know from our reports in recent days, the Ukrainian army's pressure in the Kherson region has increased considerably. Ukrainian troops are launching intensive attacks on the Russian positions on the Kherson front line. The main goal here is to expand the Ukrainian army's positions on the eastern bank of the Dnieper River. Russian sources share quite remarkable reports about this pressure of the Ukrainian army. According to the claims of Russian sources, the Ukrainian armed forces gunboats recently carried out a long-lasting reconnaissance operation on the Dnieper River. According to the allegations, Russian soldiers were contented with the following these reconnaissance operations, because it is said that inexperienced young Russian soldiers were deployed to the region, and these Russian soldiers could not respond to the Ukrainian reconnaissance teams. It is also reported that in some areas, Russian machine guns units opened fire on the Ukrainian assault boats. However, it is also among the information that these shots did not ensure the retreat of the gunboats. It seems that the Ukrainian army has indeed created a climate of the fear in the region. From this point of view, we can say that the Ukrainian army will achieve its goal of expanding its positions on the east bank of the Dnieper River in short time, because when the first seed of the fear is sown, nothing will ever be the same again. Information from Russian sources providing information on the Ukrainian offensive is as follows. They use highly sophisticated methods, such as artillery raids on any parts of our positions, and run at full speed to the channels they control, or they use bad weather conditions to concentrate at least some of their forces on the nearby island for the breakthrough operation. Our troops in the area are making a concreted effort to repel these attacks, but we are finding it very difficult because the enemy is attacking in large masses. There is a similar situation in the direction of Verbov. This is a very remarkable report in terms of understanding the current situation of the Russian soldiers serving in the Verbov area. The enemy does not spare his ammunition. On the second day, he does not spare all the fields and then the front settlements. Unfortunately, there are big losses on our side. The enemy's unmanned aerial vehicles are still trying to conduct reconnaissance, fighting under the cover of artillery. The enemy has a lot of artillery in this area. This is how they make up for their lack of experience. Our troops may be forced to retreat. Casualties are mounting. Resupply has slowed down. Our troops are tired. Continued attacks by the enemy will destroy us. As you can see, the Russian army is losing its strength in the face of the Ukrainian army's attacks. The only thing that the Ukrainian army needs is more artillery ammunition. In this way, the Ukrainian army will be able to make further progress. So what do you think? Do you think Tazaryov was executed by the Russian administration? Do you think Tazaryov's statements had an impact on the assassination? What do you think about the statements of the Russian sources about the front line? Let me know in the comments. I read and care about all your comments.